Alright folks, back at it with another jigs and fixtures video. Today we're going to be replacing these two jigs which I up to this point used for jointing. They will be replaced. My lovely daughter bought me these ratchet clamps. So what I'm going to do is use this nice factory piece of wood to put a nice straight edge on these two guys. Then I'm going to join them together and cut some slots in so that I can use this style of clamp to hold down my workpiece to make a more versatile jointing jig. First job will be to just tidy these up, make them a little bit flatter, and then we'll go from there. Okie dokes, so now these guys are reasonably flat. They're not perfectly flat, obviously. With using a thicknesser planer without a sled on something like this, you're not guaranteed flatness. The planer will follow warps and stuff on the board. So, but I think for this purpose, I think they'll be good enough. They're going to be the same thickness, and yeah, I don't think them being perfectly flat is necessary, but yeah, we'll find out. And obviously, for the job that I'm going to be using these for, jointing, a lot of pallet wood bits and bobs for pallet wood projects. I think this is going to be flat enough. The concept we're working with, I guess, is you use the tools that you've got to create better tools, and then from there you can create better work. At the point that you need more accurate or better tools, then you can upgrade again. At this point, I think this would be good enough, but we'll see. I'm going to call these flat and move on to the next process, which is to put a nice square edge on them, and that I can do. So, alright, obviously I'm making an edge jointing jig, so that kind of implies I don't really have a good edge jointing jig at the moment. So what I'm going to do is use this piece of store-bought wood. It's got a nice laminated edge on this side, so I'll use that up against the fence. And these guys, I'll just stick a little bit proud of the edge here, and I'm going to hold these ones down with screws so that they're as good as I can make them. So that's that process done. So you see we have our two boards, and zoom in here, you can see one nice flat, straight, square edge. So yeah, that's a good job done. Next, table saw to do the other side. Alright, this last cut is just to square up the other edge and yeah, create the final boards. There we go, the jointing's done. So what we've got there is, I guess, pretty much 4S pine. I just looked it up for 2 bits of pine like this from Bunnings. It cost me about 25 bucks. So that's what that process was worth. I could have driven to Bunnings and just bought a piece of timber to do this job. It would have cost me 25 bucks. This has cost me time and a bit of elbow grease. So I guess it depends on what else you got to do with your time. I tend to see this as a way of getting me upright and doing a bit of exercise as a rule rather than an exception. I do have a tendency to sit on my butt, so I'm loving the on the feet side of this hobby. Yeah. Anyway, so the next process will be to put some dowels in so that I can join these 2 boards together. At this point, I think I'll leave the dowels dry. I don't think I'll glue them together because that way I have a bit more of a versatile jig. I'll be able to use it just one plank if I'm joining a small board, and put the 2 of them together if I'm joining something larger, or if I want to do some sort of angle. So yeah, that's the thinking at the moment, but we'll see how it goes. It's not that big, so maybe it'll be fine to be glued together, but we'll see. I'll use it and see how I feel. Alright, so some dowels now. I think I made these dowels a wee bit long, so I think I will, this might be a silly idea, but I'll try and trim them with the table saw. So I don't see why that wouldn't work. Yeah, I don't want them sticking out quite that far. So the dowels are a bit long, or the holes are not deep enough, whatever. Yeah, let's see how this goes. Laugh at me in the comments. go. That's a pretty good result. That's just dry fit. Not entirely sure I'll be able to get it apart again, but yeah, that'll happen. I can get it apart if I need to, I'm sure. It's so close to perfect. I'm tempted to just leave it like that, but I'm pretty sure that will fit through my plane. So I might as well send it through joined up like that, and then it will be as close to perfect as I'm going to get it. So I'll do that, and yeah, then it'll be ready for cutting grooves. And there you have it. It's lovely and flat and smooth, and both boards are the same thickness and joined together at the same height. I don't know what I'm babbling on about. And there's the clamps. So the next step will be to lay out some lines and cut some grooves in to accommodate these guys. And then we're nearly done. So cool. Okie dokes, time to use another tool I've not used before. This little dovetail guy. It's not true, I have used it before, but yeah, way back in the day when I bought a little set of router bits for my crappy router, the collet wasn't strong enough to hold it in, so it was no good. But I've set it up and I've tested on scrap what I needed to do to achieve a groove that will work with my clamps. So clamp slides in, and yeah, and we're all good. So that's the result we're looking for. I've marked up my board with layout lines of where I want to cut the grooves, and also some layout lines of where I want to put the fences. The straight edges for running the edge of the router along. I won't bore you with the measurements for that stuff because it's specific to my router, my bit, and you'll have to measure your own, but it's, for me, yeah, it's 56 mil from the center of the cut. And of course, one cut's not enough. I need to make an adjustment of about 1 millimeter to enable the clamp to slide in it. But that's all good. Let's get to cutting. And there it is. So I'm pretty happy with that. I'll just hit it with a bit of sandpaper to tidy up the edges a bit, but I think that'll work well. Nice and flush. A little bit of tear out in a couple of spots where I hit the junctions and the edges a bit fast, but for a first time using that tool, I'm very happy. So anyway, at the end of the day, this is just a tool for doing other things, so let's use it for its purpose, give it its maiden test run and see if it actually works. Alright, so what we've made here is a edge jointing jig. You would have seen me jointing edges before, using various jigs and resting pieces on the edge and all that sort of stuff, and just now to make this I used a shelf and I screwed these guys down to it, so I had a straight edge along the fence. But with this I've got a straight edge both sides that I can run along the fence, and I've got clamps that I can use to hold my workpiece down, so I can have a piece that's as wide as the sled or very narrow. So let's give it a go. This piece here is probably a good example of a good one to start with, because it's got no straight edge here, so I can't just butt that up against something. But what I can do now is place it in the jig with the messy side in, let it overhang just a little bit, clamp it down. Now that's all nice and secure. This is essentially just one piece of wood. Set the blade height to the right height, about 3 teeth showing. Set the fence to flush. Take that out. Take let's say 3mm off. The medium offs. There you go, nicely jointed board. Yep, and no gaps along here. I don't know whether you can see that from there, but this edge is perfectly flat. There you have it. That's going to make my life a lot easier going forward. It doesn't matter how manky this edge is, I can always make this edge nice and flat all the way along the length. The jig's 1.2 meters long, so that's the longest piece of pallet wood that I'll pretty much ever get. So it'll work for pretty much all of the edge jointing that I need to do. And yeah, quicker, safer, and yeah, it's just way better than the one that I had before. So yeah, that's not a bad afternoon's work, I think. Bit of fun. I did 2 new things. I haven't used the dovetail bit before, well, not successfully, and I've not joined 2 boards together with Dowels before. So, yep, the journey continues, and we're making progress. Awesome.